So, hello everyone. I'm Arya and I'm the volunteer for this session. Speakers will be joining in a moment right now. We have Ram Kumar and Sammy joining us. Yes. Over to you guys.
Oh, good morning, Sami. Can you able to hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, sure. But Sammy, your voice is not audible. Hi, Rajesh.
Hi, Sami.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
All good. All good.
Sammy, still.
Sorry, we still can't hear you, Sammy.
Hi, Suresh.
Hey, Ram. Hey,
Good morning.
Rajesh.
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, I wish we had had chance to do a dry run. It would have been easier.
Yeah, still we have 1 minute.
Sammy, still we can't hear.
I can hear, Suresh.
No, you can hear me, but I think we're not able to hear Sammy.
Yes, Sammy, yeah, he dropped. He will be joining back.
Yeah, he will be joining back.
It's 10 a.m. Shall
Can
I?
can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Sammy. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Speak.
Yeah. Okay. Are we good to go? Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So let's start with speaker one. Ram Kumar, you are our speaker one. Ram Kumar Rengasamy is a
Sure.
principal architect at Cognizant Technologies. At the forefront of next-gen modernization, Ram Kumar's role as technologist hinges on leveraging Gen AI solutions, transformations, agile methodologies, and in-depth requirement analysis to drive IT optimization and transformation. His team commits to excellence as enable the successful implementation of continuous integration and automation framework, setting new benchmark for productivity in large IT programs. So Ram Kumar, your topic for this Ignite session is implementing quality gates using Gen AI.
Yep.
Okay, yours the stage.
Yeah. Thank you for setting the context. Can you able to see my screen? Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay,
We can
sure.
we can see your screen now.
Thank you. So the topic we are going to cover today is SDLC quality gates using GenA. Since nowadays all the customers and the industry is moving towards total quality management, we cannot clearly demark what is QA and what is dev like that. So the quality is everyone's responsibility in that aspect. We need to have the quality gates in every stage. This is just my
Hey
intro.
Ram,
Yeah.
can you make it full screen, please? Thank you.
Can you able to see in full screen? I am in presenting mode.
Uh, no, it's not showing presentation mode.
Is
That's
it?
okay. Go ahead.
1 second. How about now?
Okay, let's keep going. Each speaker has 10 minutes, so let's just
Okay,
keep going.
sounds good. So basically today we are going to cover what are the SDLC level quality gates and what are all the generative AI components in different quality gates, as well as what type of algorithms we are using in the Gen AI, as well as what tools and platforms we support for these Gen AI based SDLC quality gates, and what Gen AI meant for testing current and in futuristic perspective, as well as from the DevSecOps perspective, what the Gen AI can help us, and how the implementation can happen from people and process perspective. And overview, like quality gates, as we said, right? Each stage of the SDLC have the entry task validation and exit criteria. These are all the places where we can set up the quality gates. Each stage will be an autonomous. So far, it's mostly manual, um, manual or semi-automated like that. And there is no much prediction in that side, as well as there is no insight in those areas. So the GenAI can leverage us in more proactive way than in a reactive way. So in risk management, it's going to help us a lot in predicting the risk prone areas and impact analysis based validations and the compliance, especially from the security perspective. What are the compliance standards we are managing from the industry perspective as well as from the SLA perspective? Then enhancing customer satisfaction is the key point where we are trying to get the quality gates implemented through GenAI. Our next topic is
Ram, just sorry to interrupt. I guess you might be sharing a different screen. We're
was
just
it?
seeing your first slide. Ram. Yeah, yeah.
Was it?
Maybe you just shared a different window while sharing.
1 second,
Maybe if you can
sorry.
unshare and share the full screen, we might be able to see your actual slides.
Yeah, 1 second. This is the initial hiccup. So let me share my screen. Share screen. Okay, let me share it now. Can you able to see now?
We can see the presentation in, yeah, now we can see the edit presentation mode. Ram.
Yeah, the stages of SDLC and associated quality gates you are
Yes, yes,
seeing,
yes,
right?
perfect.
Fine. Sorry for that. It's a technical glitch. Okay. So as we already discussed, the different stages of SDLC, starting from the requirement, design phase, development and implementation, plus testing and quality assurance. These are all the key phases we are having in the SDLC. These are all the primary focus areas from the GenAI perspective, how the quality gates can be implemented. And traditional quality gates, we have so many challenges like manual, and the turnaround time is very high, as well as the completeness. Basically, the quality of output from the traditional quality gates are not much reliable and repeatable. All these challenges traditionally we are facing are able to close by Gen AI through the predictive modeling as well as the decision making. We no need to do the decision manually. Basically, if you think of a self-service portal like service now or anything like that, we can create a testing using a DevSecOps pipeline or through a self-service portal way, where we will see the stages, validation, quality gates status, so that it's an autonomous thing. We no need to do any manual intervention in maintaining those quality gates. And what's the role of AI in automating the quality gates? Basically, automation, we focus on automating the repetitive tasks. It can be a process, it can be a UI validation, backend validation, API validation, or anything, right? The key impact of the generative AI is the process automation. Mostly, we are implementing the agent frameworks for various silo activities, which yearly we were doing using the process automation RPA like that. The replacement for that area is predominantly GenAI can do that. It can be any type of coding. It can be a Python coding, it can be a shell scripting, and anything for automating the repetitive tasks. And from machine learning algorithms, we mostly have a bulk data, historical data, as well as the ongoing data, right? It's a cumbersome task for a manual effort to correlate what happened previously and what's going on now, to connect to the futuristic thing. So machine learning algorithms help us a lot. This GenAI is an extension of the existing AI ML practice to a large extent of doing autonomous validations and internal logics, complicated processing within that algorithms. So we will get a reliable as well as finite input rather than getting some what you say rough output. And streamlining development process, this development is a generic word which covers automation development, code development, everything. And from the machine learning and deep learning algorithms, we have various patterns how it will read and help us in delivering the GenAI solutions. Analyzing code quality patterns. Actually, mostly we will think of the SonarCube and all the static analysis tools where we will be having the code quality of previous version to the current version. The current challenge in the IT landscape is the impact analysis. Requirement, starting from the requirement, how it will evolve into a business requirement, then into a software requirement, how it converted to the user stories, from the user stories to the development code, from there to various levels of testing, automation, finally compliance validation, security validation, non functional validations, and final sign off. All these things will come into a single roof through the GenAI using the impact analysis solution. And predicting potential issues, it will say what are the 20% of the issues, which are all the root causes for all those, as well as it will say categorizing of the defects. If some defect we encounter, through the GenAI model, we can predict and say, okay, this defect might be falling into this bucket. So the automated assigning of the defects to the appropriate dev team will be a seamless process. As well as automating decision making, whether it is a go or no go for each stage, it can be done through the GenAI. And anomaly detection and predictive analysis is a key thing where the SRE and all these things come into picture, right? As well as in the service monitoring, and wherever the SRE things come into picture and the security things come into picture, the anomaly detection and eradication, GenAI is helping a lot. As well as predictive analysis is a part of that, as well as proactive problem resolution. Basically, starting from the code deployment, right? Everyone can easily say, okay, this code is having 80% of coverage in this functionality. So the testing can be focused on that area. So we will proactively solve the problem from the validation perspective as well as from the predictive analysis perspective. And what are the tools? For code quality, we have automation testing, we have performance monitoring, we have, and integrated development IDEs, right? We have so many IDEs, integrated things like GitHub Copilot. We have various other integrated fashion. Also, we can customize and create our own agent code. Which work with our IDEs, integrated IDEs for various process automation. Say, for example, the bug fix, impact analysis, we can create our own agent framework code, and we can utilize as part of our code execution itself or during the compiling of the code itself. And the code suggestions will be an autonomous thing, as well as error detection, automated refactoring also key focus area. And we have
All right.
various.
Kumar, I think you're out of your time now, so we'll have another speaker.
Okay.
Maybe I'm hoping you're going to hang around during the
No
session.
problem. Yeah, I'll be there, and
answer
I'll
some
be
questions.
sharing the questions related to this slide in the chat.
Perfect.
Connect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Rajesh Kannan, it's your turn. So Rajesh Kannan is a partner and head of the quality engineering and testing services at Deloitte India. He leads a wide spectrum of test consulting services, including test assessments, test center of excellence, setup services, and test delivery services to their respective domestic and international clientele. Rajesh is one of the first member of India's testing community to be accredited by the TMMI Foundation to become the part of elite TMMI Assessors Club. That's fantastic. He has led one of the India's first TMMI Level 5 certification for the second largest IT service company, one of the largest aviation partner. So Rajesh, your topic for this Ignite session is leveraging Gen AI for TMMI assessments. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Sami. Are you able to hear me clearly and see my screen? Perfect. Thank you. So First of all, at a time and age when it takes about 5 minutes to do an introductions, I was pleasantly surprised when the TMI Foundation members called me to talk for 5 minutes on a session. See, as far as I'm concerned, all good things in life comes in small packets. So I'll make use of the time that I've allocated, and like I said, time is the most precious thing that we have. So thank you to all the members who have joined and share the time with us. So thank you so very much. So to keep it short, the topic that I'm going to present is on how to leverage GenAI for TMA assessments. So as Sami mentioned, I've been doing multiple assessments, right? Formal TMM assessments, informal, and then internal assessments. And I was wondering, on the other side, we've been using GenAI for technical solutions, right? So we use GenAI for our test design creation, test case creation, or even automation. So we're intrigued to see how can we use GenAI to optimize our test assessments, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, as a consulting, assessments are critical part. They're like a diagnosis to a human being, right? Where you evaluate what's the health of a person. And if I can use technology to do assessments, I think that be the best benefits. And then the medication is actual implementation where you can use. So that's why you thought, okay, how do you use GenAI for test assessments? And what you see on the screen is a culmination of the thought process that we have got, and some of which you're already following in our assessments is uh, as an assessor, any of you who done assessment would know that it typically consists of the 6 stages that you see on screen: your readiness, interviews, the actual assessments, validation, reporting, and implementation. Right now, if as an assessor, or if you really want to do an assessment, the first thing is readiness, where you carve out your scope, find out what are the programs that I need to evaluate, what are the projects that I need to evaluate, what are the different documents that I need to assess, right? That's a huge voluminous work by itself. And that's where AI can come into picture, saying that, look, you can automate your data collection and initial analysis, so that when I go into an assessment, you can actually be knowing what's the programs that you have, what are the different documents that are ratified, to the extent that you can actually list the questions. So when any typical good assessment is successful on, what are the right questions to ask? You can actually form your questions, right? That's where you have the first stage, which is readiness, and you can use AI. And we've given some examples, right? So you can extract metrics from the current programs in Jira, JTest, right? And then probably come out with your questionnaire plan and also the assessment schedule, by which you can save up to 30% of your readiness phase, number one. Interview phase. In my experience, interviews are the longest and the most time consuming of all this, because you end up talking to, assume you were in the last program which I did, the large, you had to assess nothing less than 20, 30 projects, and you need to interview at least 4 or 5 roles in each project: the program manager, the test manager, the agile developer. And imagine, multiply that with the number of programs and number of projects, you would end up doing nothing less than 100, 150 interviews. Now imagine the documentation work, imagine the amount of the summarization that you need to do. And if it's in person, you need to probably you need to document what does the conversations, right? That's where you can use your conversational AI, you can use your transcription tools, you can use your sentiment analysis to make sure that you capture the interviews, right? You plan the interviews, but then you capture. And most of the time now we do interviews virtually. In our time, I know when me and Tarun and rest of us were doing the assessments, it was in person, but obviously you can use your voice recording tools to record and then transcript. One, you can document as a recording, but you can actually narrate, bring out analysis out of the interviews as well, right? So that's where you can use your transcription tools like Otter AI, or even your simple any of your Teams, Zoom already have your transcription or even summarization. We can make best use of that. Right? On top of your other tools like your Watson's or an UDA AI, which you can use to document that. And then at the end of it, you'll also have your transcript ready as well, and also the analysis also ready, right? And this is by the time you finish the entries, mind you. And you can reduce up to 50% of your manual effort, believe it or not, because this is where you need to see the real power of AI. You're saying that if you're reducing your time for 50% of interviews, it actually can save your time for your analysis, right? Stage 3 of an the assessment is, you then pour through the data of all the interviews you've done, the documentation you've done. And trust me, it's no easy job. And sometimes it's longer than your PhD subjects that you would typically end up doing, right? Or just as equally bad, where you end up pouring through multitude of data. Imagine at org level if you're doing an assessment. And that's where you can do AI, where you can actually prioritize the patterns, right? Be it your coverage, completeness, or automation percentage, or if there's any slip in the process, or if there's a deviation or number of productions issues coming in for a particular program, or if your program has systematically delays in, say, development turning over, right? All of these issues can be logged, but also interpreted and pattern, put in as a pattern for your end user to do. And trust me, I think this is where the bulk heart of the AI will come into picture. You can use your ML algorithms, pattern recognition, gap analysis. We can build models. I mean, different firms have different volumes, but you can do that, right? And then your tool. And I'll quickly take a minute more before I exhaust my time, right? So the last three stages, if you ask me, the first three stages are the most important, where the volume of work can be crunched using AI. But the last three stages is where the real power of AI comes in, where once you understand the problem, you will be able to interpret better with AI and also extrapolate, right? Assume that a program has traditionally been having programs. You can just see historical data and then even predict where the process issue or technical issue or a person issue comes, right? You might have a pattern saying that every time there's a go live and people are burnt out, there might be a lack in productivity in the next stage, right? So you can actually predict and think, extrapolate that. So that's where you have your AI tools like your Jasper, Gamma, where you can use and generate insightful report where you report cluster-wise. And AI has got amazing reporting structures, right? Where you can actually use your AI to report and then get a validation from your end client or your the team under being assessed. But also extrapolate in the future, saying that look, you had systematic problems, and then you can actually foresee a set of problems. I think nothing like it. And so to conclude, folks, AI can not only improve the speed of your assessments, not only improve the quality of your assessment, but improve the effectiveness of assessment immensely, right? So it's like a diagnosis, right? Traditionally, just to give a parlance, I like corollaries, right? If you're a patient as going to the doctor and you know your past history, and a doctor has been prescribing the history saying that, look, these are being your systematic inputs, that is in the past. But if a doctor can then extrapolate a future, look, by virtue of your past symptoms, you are forcing a huge problem. This is a predict. That's a huge, huge, huge value for a patient, right? And specifically, if the project is the case, AI will not only revolutionize assessment, but also use as a forecasting. This is a defect prediction in the process the best, right? So with that, I'll conclude. And on the screen, you have all the tools that we use. Happy to take any queries, questions at my or offline as well. With in the interest of time, I will pause. But really pleasure speaking here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rajesh, and I hope you stay around and answer any of the questions
Absolutely.
our panelists and audience might have. Okay, now comes our famous celebrity, Kohli. When they said Kohli, I thought we have a celebrity from different field, but I think we have an even better celebrity here. Okay, so we have Prabhmeet Kohli. Prabhmeet Kohli founded an AI startup. It's called Nova Morph. That provides AI and data strategy, empowering small and mid-sized businesses to grow revenue and to improve their workforce productivity by leveraging AI-driven solutions. So prior to Novamorph, she held executive positions at various organizations. Some of them are like Capital One, Northern Trust, where she provided strategy and technology guidance to build data and AI solutions. So Prabhmeet has an MBA in marketing, and also she completed the business analytics program from Harvard Business School. She is also a member of HBR Advisory Council and certification information privacy professionals. So Prabhmeet, your topic for this session, for the Ignite session, is how to leverage Gen AI to launch a TMMI initiative. Stage is yours.
Yes. Thank you. I am trying to share my screen here. Bear with me for a second. Okay. It says it's unable to share my screen. 1 second. Let me try it one more time. If I do the entire screen, then you end up seeing me. I'm trying to share the PowerPoint presentation that I have running. Okay. You know what? I'll just share the entire screen and then we'll go from there. It's just easier that way. Okay. Oh, it still says I have issues with the security and privacy. Apologies for that. Give me 1 second. Yeah, in the meanwhile, I just want to highlight that I have no affiliation with Virat Kohli. I know which famous Kohli you were talking about. Unfortunately, I do not have that. So let's see.
You know, you had a
Yeah.
chance. You had a chance to claim the spotlight, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Nah. I got my own spotlight. Come
yeah,
on.
you do. Yeah. So you get
Which is not working for me right now because I cannot for this.
do you want to just talk over it and then that's fine.
Yeah, we can do. I can do that.
Yeah.
I can certainly do
Yeah.
that. So you, I'm sorry, guys, you won't see my presentation today, but just want to give you. So I know we are all talking about. First of all, welcome and thank you everyone for joining this great session here. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about Gen AI as we talk about this TMMI track today. I think most of the speakers here touched upon the advantages of using Gen AI, right? We talked about how it can help us with the efficiency. It's going to help us with the metrics. It's going to help us with a lot of the stuff that we were doing manually. So, even creating your test scenarios were a lot of manual effort. There had to be an alignment between the product and the QA teams, which Rajesh just talked about, interviews and stuff. And then you could automate the execution, but this was, again, a lot of time-consuming process. You didn't have your test data as readily available. You didn't have your continuous maintenance was required on the scripts. But with this AI approach, especially with Gen AI, you can generate a lot of things. You can generate your test scenarios, your test scripts. You have an expanded test coverage. You can even simulate, so that alignment between the product owners and the testers and the developers, you can simulate those actors and kind of look at the interaction between the user interface and the APIs, how that's going to happen. Of course, automated test report generation is right here. And then you have synthetic data generation for simulating those scenarios. So today, I would like to focus a little bit on the test scenario, the synthetic data generation part of it. But you got to remember that when you're using that, the test scenarios can be really outlandish. So you need to have acceptance from the stakeholders. So there's still going to be some sort of an alignment with the stakeholders, okay? So when we talk about the synthetic data generation, we all are saying that, hey, Gen AI can generate a lot of things for us. So why can it not generate the synthetic data that we can use for testing? Now, why I want to talk about it at the TMMI part here is because when we go in and you do the assessments, especially if you're as proficient as Mr. Kannan is here with that, you need to make sure that you're taking into account what kind of data is being used for testing it, right? How are they coming up with that? Where is your evidence for all of that? So for the synthetic data generation, I'll touch upon a few of the use cases. One is the financial industry. You do not necessarily see a lot of fraud in that particular scenario that you would think would happen, right? It's usually after, if you see an anomaly that, it's a fraud that could possibly be happening here. Similarly, for credit assessments, if you want to come up with a scenario, simulate those scenarios, the synthetic data is required for that. And I just want to highlight here that the synthetic data and the difference between the real world data is that the artificial data is going to look at the statistical patterns that are out there and the properties of the real life data. And then it's going to, you can use that in a closed test environment and before you deploy it to production. So I talked about the financial industry cases, healthcare, clinical trials, healthcare analysis, marketing. That's a big one because personalized campaigns and market simulations are going to be really beneficial with using this synthetic data. It just reduces the cost of the data acquisition a lot. Imagine having to do those surveys, going out and doing those per market simulations and marketing, and versus having the synthetic data, which is actually helping you out with that. Another important benefit of this is your reduced data privacy and non-compliance risk, right? You need to be compliant. You cannot be sharing your PII data, your production data cannot be copied directly onto your test environment. So it really reduces all of that. I will not say it takes it away completely. Never trust that part because there's always going to be a risk of something going on. So those are some of the use case scenarios with the synthetic generation of data. Some of the techniques, which I know I'll share my screen, I'll share my slide deck later. Some of the techniques that are used for, why I wanted to touch upon it is because we all think it's GPT, right? Any kind of generative pre-trained transformers. There are also GANs, which are generative adversarial networks. There are VAEs, which are variational autoencoders, and there's a different use case for all three of them. It depends on your context, right? Which kind of data do you need? Do you need high quality images and videos, or do you need just the text and some tabular data? Or are you looking at like just preserving the privacy, or what's your focus in that scenario? So that is where the three different techniques that are, and there's more, just not these three that are there. If you could give me a time check real quick, Sammy.
You might another minute to go.
Okay, cool. So now I'll move on from the synthetic generation techniques. Think about the possibilities. I know you will hear a lot about agentic AI. You will hear a lot about RAG scenarios. So think of the scenario where you have going in for an assessment, but there are tools like Testim, Functionize, AppyTool, Mabel. I can go on and on. There's new tools coming out every day, which are generating your test cases. You have an LLM, which does the inference. And as a tester or as an assessor, you go in, you're able to see the entire metrics dashboard with what kind of testing was done, where is the evidence of it. I mean, it'll make your assessment life much easier. That's the realm of possibility. And in the future, what I'm thinking of is, with agentic AI, I'm calling them quality AIs, which is QAI, my acronym here. The QAI agents, which can actually navigate the entire workflow, identify the functional defects, security vulnerabilities, usability issues, performance issues, and scalability issues. For somebody who's looking to get a TMMI certification, having an agent run that for you before you even apply for a assessment certification would be a tremendous help. So with that, I would like to hand it off back to Sammy, and thank you for bearing with me, guys. Without my screen, my slides here, I feel horrible with that, but
no, that
apologies.
was I think without slide was better, so we can hear what you have to say, and we can focus
Awesome.
on hearing.
We
Okay,
could
that was
visualize
fantastic.
what we could say,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
But
sure.
you draw the picture just by talking about it, so that's one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that.
Okay, thank you very much, Ram Kumar, Rajesh, and Prabhmeet. It was fantastic, and I'm hoping you will stick around and answer any questions some of our audiences might have. And we'll see you again in next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope the session was useful. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you, folks.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Our world is constantly evolving, and it's becoming more digital and more complex. Technology should support us, improve our lives. Technology should simplify our everyday life, bring us safely to our destination. But who ensures that all these things work as they should? We have dedicated ourselves to software quality assurance on 6 locations in Germany and a total of 10 branches worldwide. More than 400 employees test software down to the last detail and uncover hidden defects. Our Imbus test and quality experts find quick solutions and make the software products of our customers easier to use and more secure. In doing so, we use precise and effective methods for testing software products. We help our customers to avoid potential errors from the very beginning and increase the quality of their products. In the Imbus Academy, we train the employees of our customers in matters regarding software quality and software testing. As one of the largest training providers worldwide, we offer certified courses in face-to-face seminars and online as well. Here at Imbus, we search for and find defects, so that our world will be a bit better and safer every day. Our world is constantly evolving, and it's becoming more digital and more complex. Technology should support us, improve our lives. Technology should simplify our everyday life, bring us safely to our destination. But who ensures that all these things work as they should? We have dedicated ourselves to software quality assurance on 6 locations in Germany and a total of 10 branches worldwide. More than 400 employees test software down to the last detail and uncover hidden defects. Our Imbus test and quality experts find quick solutions and make the software products of our customers easier to use and more secure. In doing so, we use precise and effective methods for testing software products.